So I appreciate everybody coming today. We'll go ahead and start off with a review of the minutes from April 26th. So.
I didn't see a problem with them. I just, on the bid openings that we had, those dollar amounts that are listed there are the high ones. That's what the options.
Yeah, that is with the
Yeah,
option.
yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented to us.
Okay, I'll second that. Motion carries.
Here's that.
What's that?
I didn't sign that.
I don't know.
If Steve wasn't here for that meeting, does he still sign these minutes, Mark?
Sign the minutes?
If Steve was not here for that meeting, does he sign those minutes or just not sign them?
No, you don't need to sign them.
Don't sign it. I got that straight from the attorney.
Got it.
Are we supposed to listen to our attorney?
Don't have to.
Hey, when it suits our purpose,
A
we
lot
do.
of people don't.
All right, we're gonna jump ahead just a little bit and ask Mike Brown to come on up. So
Personally, I was.
you've got a couple of things to approve.
We have a certificate management project that we talked about during the change management meeting last Thursday. And for us to do exploratory work on that, we need to get assistance for about 50 block hours. So I got a quote for what the cost would be for 50 block hours. $87.50 with the people who already do a lot of work for us on that end of it to begin with, so just need approval for
What
that.
company is it that does it?
ESI. ESI.
ESI. That's what I thought, I just wanted to make sure.
Where's it from, Mike? Yes, Indianapolis or?
Indianapolis,
Okay, I get that.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, do you want to take them individually? All right,
Real quick.
what do you guys think?
Well, what's developing? Mike, you want to explain a little bit about those certificates?
Certificate
maybe?
management, yeah.
Give us a little bit of an
Certificate management, They're doing a lot of this with the software. If we don't keep the certificates up to date, then the software won't work. Basically, that we have, that's how they're managing stuff. In the past, if you realize, and this is something that we can all put our arms around, in the past, they would give you a CD or a DVD with a product ID on it. And then you would install it, it would ask for the ID, and then the installation would continue. The problem with that is that everybody and their neighbor could make a copy of that CD, and the people could just pass them around and install it on their PCs or whatever. So the companies now have gone to certificates, which means that we have to get a third-party certificate issuer, which we have a couple. We go through Dine and Komodo, and we get certificates from them, and they last for 1 year. When the certificates expire, and if you don't have them updated before then your software won't work. And so basically, you have to go through renewals, and you have to get new licensing for the software, and then you have to, part of that is you have to issue a new certificate in with it. Now, no one can pass around software anymore. That's why they're doing it that way. The companies were losing a lot of money, and we all know about that from Asia, right, with Office, Microsoft Office, and they were passing those things around, and people, if they were selling them, were taking the money on their own and getting $5 for Office, which would at the time cost $300 and some. They're just getting that through. So that's a new wave of what's happening, and some of these are very difficult to put in place, the certificates are. So we almost have to have some people who do that constantly instead of like once a year that we're going to have to do. Because, for instance, law enforcement software, we have one that over a year ago went dead. I got a call at midnight. I asked for instructions on what has to be done to the software, and I got back from the company that they didn't have the people on hand at midnight, third shift, that could do it. And I says, okay, do you have a document? And they said, yes. And I got it at midnight, a little bit after midnight. It was a 27-page document on going into their server, which I didn't install, and trying to manage and get them back up so dispatch would work the remainder of the night. 27 pages of places that I had to go into the software and make adjustments for the new certificate. So it's very complicated. It seemed like it shouldn't be much, but it really is anymore. And especially if we don't install the software, then we're not going to be accustomed to it. And if we only install it like once every 3 years or 5 years, whenever we get it updated, then we're behind the 8 ball. So we need a consulting company that they do that for people all the time to help us out to manage them. So it's literally, I just went through it upstairs. It's like, with Ethan, it's like nearly all of our servers with all the applications now. It's a big deal.
Is there, to put it in perspective, roughly how many certificates are we dealing with? I assume it's quite a few because we have so many different
Yeah,
applications.
we get wildcard certificates that we can use on any server. So we got 80 servers, so it's 80 servers and the applications on top of it that those servers run. So it's not just installing them on the servers, but it's also, we have to dig into the applications and put them in there.
So this block of hours would manage all those certificates so that we don't have an end of life on the software.
First thing of what it is, Stan, is the first thing is exploratory, where they go in and they figure out what all certificates we have and what's it going to take to manage them. And then that block of hours would be to get them issued for this year. Hopefully they all fit under that. If they don't, we'll have to come in and ask for some more block of hours, but I got it in my line item budget to do it. And then hopefully that's just something that it'll be trimmed down in following years once they know what it takes for us.
Okay.
I don't know, does that help explain it to you somewhat? It's a big deal.
Just to better organize, and we'll they'll give us kind of an inventory of what we have.
Yeah.
And it's gonna give us
plus documentation.
And it's gonna give us continuity, in case, Mike's not gonna be here forever. And we need to have that continuity going.
When I came in, there was nothing. We didn't have passwords for the software. We didn't have who we had certificates with. We didn't even know what certificates had been issued. We had nothing. And so Bob and I were on pins and needles for the first year. And they all came due. We had to try and figure out who they were with, try to get new ones, try to get them updated. No documentation or anything there. So, and you had them back then for a longer period of time, 3 to 5 years. So now, because that has all changed with security, now it is a must that they do them every year. They will not extend them out longer. You can buy them for 3 years, but you got to get one issued every year. So.
Well, it sounds like a pretty critical part of our system.
It is. It is.
Do you have a line item, Mike, to take that out of?
That is out of Fund 1000, line item 38300.000.9600. and the description is consulting fees.
Okay, and you got money in there for that.
Yeah, we do.
I'll go ahead and make a motion on that.
Okay, motion carries.
Mike, what is the amount? Not money, I didn't get you.
$8,750, I believe.
$8,750?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Next thing is our Microsoft licensing renewal for this year. 68, read that number off, 68,000,
569.99.
yeah, 68,000.
569.19?
569.99.
Oh,
That's annual.
Yeah, that's annual. And that came in less than what we had originally thought it would, right, Mike?
I had budgeted 90,000, but we're gonna have to do some updating because of what we charge the outside entities through interlocal agreements. They get charged for licensing, and so I have to get new licensing onto that, which entails somewhere so that we're just under 90. Then once we add that on, but I'm trying to negotiate that one. It was 20-some thousand for that one. Was it 28 or something like that? Or we talked about it last week, but
Right.
I don't have it in front of you because I'm trying to get it down from the figure that they gave. But even with the figure they gave us on the first one, it came out to totally between that one and the other one, 88,000 or something. So I'm
Remember
still
that.
under on my budget line item.
And we're gonna get reimbursed a little bit of money from the cities, right? For the
Yeah, we've
town,
already
so-
got that money.
Yeah, okay.
When we do that, I'll point to that in particular.
Well, we have to get it done, so I'll make a motion to go ahead and.
Second.
Okay, motion carries.
Hey, Mike, is Microsoft also a one-year deal, just for 1 year?
We signed a contract for 3 years.
I say 3 years, okay.
And that was another thing that you had to bring current when you started here.
Yeah,
That was not current.
line item on that one is Fund 1,035,705.000.9600. Now, I also want to say that I appreciate the auditor's office to try and separate this stuff out that they did this year so that we have it recognized what's going where on these various things. So that was a nice addition.
Well, I don't think Bree's very busy generally.
She just waits around for something to do. I'm lying, folks. She makes me look good.
Next thing is from ESI now. It's a quote for 20 PCs at $22,466. That's specifically for the jail to move them off of VDI machines and onto physical machines. That's integrated. The reason being was the integration in with WebEx, and WebEx doesn't work very well with VDI machines, so we got to get them converted over, especially with the new software that we're going to implement with the jail and law enforcement. There's going to be a lot of training. They're going to do that training through WebEx, and yeah, it just doesn't perform very well with VDI. We have money for that one under new hardware equipment. The fund is 1138. Line item is 42500.000.0000. There's plenty of money in there for that particular. item. But it's for dispatch, all the people that run the jail, the tower, bookend, all those areas. There's 20 machines, what Eric Greer said, we needed to get that converted over.
I'll make a motion for that claim.
Okay,
Second.
motion carries.
Next one is with our backup system, our yearly maintenance renewal on software. The backup software is, the renewal is $17,745.36.
What company, Mike, is that ESI also?
Yeah, ESI is who we're getting that through. Line item, or fund and line item, fund is 1,000. Line item 35715.000.9600. Description is, let's see if I can find it here real quick. Beam yearly maintenance. I got plenty of money into there. I think the budget was at 20,000 and we're at 17, so we're a little bit under, so.
I'll make a motion, go ahead and approve that claim.
Second.
Okay, motion carries.
We got two other ones for WebEx. Yearly maintenance, this is for phase one. This one is for the Cisco part, the Cisco equipment for all the locations. That we put in phase one is $3,975.07. That's through CBTS. That's the company that we're getting that through. They were the installing dealer. So again, that's the Cisco Services Support quotation, $3,975.07. We have a software support one as well. That one is from CBTS as well for $5,548.27. This is for software support in all of the locations that did phase one. That's for 1 year. And I have it through line item fund 1,000. Line item 35755.000.9600. The fund has 15,000 in it right now, so we're well under that. That we had to estimate that one.
Okay, so claims.
So like we're using it right now, this one's being recorded, WebEx is using it here, it's with the courts, it's with the jail, it's with the AV rooms, various departments right now. Phase one covered various departments on that. So this is just for phase one. We also did phase two, but that came later in the year, and then we're trying to get phase three in,
So we have enough money in that fund for the phase two?
yeah. Yeah. And since phase three hasn't been implemented, then we won't need it, so we'll have enough to cover it.
Make a motion.
Okay, motion carries.
That's CBTSC, right?
See,
See, okay, where's it from?
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
There it is there. You need to see it, CVTS.
Yeah, okay, good. Oh, thanks. Didn't hear the first word.
Was that motion for both of those?
Yes.
Yeah, for both of them, I'm sorry.
So if you get the signatures on those and give them back to me sometime, then I can turn those into POs and get invoices. So. And now I'm done.
All right.
We just spent our budget.
Thank you, guys.
Well,
Thanks,
thank you,
Mike.
Mike. We
Appreciate
certainly
it.
appreciate all your work on that.
For 6 months. It does it for 6 months.
Okay.
Do they need to sign all of these now? Just send something to them and sign it, get it back to him so we can create POs. I'll sign it, it's just, I'll sign it. I assume we'll get it. And you'll need to sign each one, I guess, and then get them back to Mike, and let them create invoices at some point, we'll get down to us to change it.
Can I just borrow your rubber stamp and I'll sit here?
Sure.
Yeah, we can get them signed here after the meeting.
All right. We'll move on. Tony, if you want to do your auditor report.
I forgot all about that, I had to do it after all that.
All right.
First thing that I have is, hold on. The weekly allied insurance claims in the amount of $8,977.72, 89.77.72, and it looks like that is all medical. It's already signed, but if everybody wants to look at it.
Okay. It's nice to see lower numbers on that. Plan.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right. Motion carries to approve medical claims.
I can cover it. Okay.
A little bit of a credit on that, didn't we?
Okay, next, we have, we are moving from the commissioners into the health fund, which we do this every year at certain times just to move money over. And that's $925,002. Bree, why'd you add 2 cents on that? Just for fun?
No, it's 1,850,000 divided by 12, and then that's every time 6 cents.
So $925,002.
2 cents. I'll give you 2 pennies.
Who gets the 2 cents, Tony?
Eric, I was hoping you would throw that in. I know, that's your tax.
That goes in the gumball machine.
There you go. Hey, gives you a chance to get in your 2 cents.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion carries.
All righty, then I have the quarterly wheel tax. Did you want me to bring this up, or did you want to bring it up when you're up here? And by the way, when we're talking about wheel tax, we did some research. What is today?
The 4th?
We did some research, I think it was Friday or Monday. And since its inception in 2018, the total amount that the entire county, not just the county, but also Decatur, Burns, Geneva, Monroe, the total amount is $4 million altogether. I had heard other numbers, but after researching it is $4 million.
Yes, I did.
Yep. So, and the cities each have their own uses for that wheel tax money. I spoke with them and they have specific things that they utilize with that money, so.
So let me ask you this, out of that 4 million, roughly what portion of that was, for the county?
You would ask me that. I don't know. Brad, do you know what the percentage would be?
I don't know.
County versus city?
Percentages. Last year was 800,000. Just last year.
So 70? Give or take?
Just
I don't know.
curious.
I could
We
be.
can put together a chart that shows everything that the entire county has gotten and then do a breakdown of how much the county's gotten.
Didn't we send that out? Or,
I don't know if we did the wheel tax. I know we've done almost everything else, but I don't know if we've done wheel
I
tax.
thought we did the wheel tax also, but we can definitely get that for you and break that down.
Well, and it's broken down as far as this quarter, I just thought, since you brought up the total number, I thought that
Right.
would be interesting.
Well, because it tells, you can almost, it's pretty much that way, I would say every quarter where the county, the breakdown that you're seeing here is fairly similar in its breakdown, but it's always going to depend on how many licenses or how many registrations and all that stuff, or how many wheels were put on the buggies and so forth. But anyway,
Just from this quarterly breakdown, it almost looks like, let's see,
We get about 80%, a little bit better on that breakdown.
and that's what I'm thinking, probably 70 to 80, just off the top of my head. It depends on a few factors, but the money is well utilized. I mean, it's being spent on what it's
It stays right here in the county.
required to be spent on, and it's all staying here in the county, so.
That's for road repairs, right?
Yes.
Anyway, as you can see, I handed out to you the breakdown of that. Time out. Sorry. You gotta get that, Stan? Bree, was that you calling him? Okay. The grand total quarterly is $313,481.79, and I'll have a copy, Eric, for you and Jim. Okay? So you don't have to frantically write it down, I'll hand you a copy. Burn out of that amount, received $15,348.44. Decatur, $36,608.21. I think that's a 2. And Geneva, $57,99.97. Monroe, $34,72.75. And the county, $252,252.42.
so that does come out to roughly 75%. So the county would get roughly 75% of that total amount.
So.
I'll make a motion, Stan, to enter the report into the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
All right.
Can you help us?
Motion to enter that report into the minutes.
Okay, we're doing printer copier maintenance. Just another hat we wear. Okay. Bree, did you want to bring that later? Or now? This stuff should be- I don't know. Who's coming?
11.
At 11? Not coming till 11. They aren't coming until 11, so I can't get that.
Just need one.
Yeah, I was gonna give one to Jim and one to Eric down there. There you go, guys. Unless you needed a copy for you, Mark. Okay, and I do believe, because this didn't need a motion, I think that's all I have.
Okay. Anything else for the auditor?
Nope.
Okay. All right, acting county engineer.
Acting.
And highway department.
There you go. Good morning.
Morning.
So, again today, these are all permits for right-of-way work. So if it's okay, I mean, I would assume if we can go through them and then maybe if you guys want to sign them afterwards, there's a lot to sign. That's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, the first one is from Heartland REMC. And on Winchester Road between 450 West and 500 West, they want to bury a primary power line. And I'm just reading what they put down, it's to eliminate some kind of code violation. So I'm assuming there's already one there because I went and looked and there's already one there. So I'm assuming they got to run a new one. So I'm not sure what the violation is, and that's nothing to do with me. I didn't see a problem with it on Winchester Road. They're plenty far back off the road. Shouldn't be a problem. They're just gonna bore it in anyway, so. That's the only one from them.
I would make a motion to approve
Is there
that.
any reason to take it separately? Do you want to take it separately or?
Since that's the only
Well,
one
since
from
it's
them.
since that's the only one, probably.
Okay.
I'll make a motion on it.
Second.
Okay, motion carries to approve that permit as presented.
All right, the rest are with Indiana Michigan Power, so I will go through them. And Tony, I believe she already sent you a list. On County Road 400 West, between 475 East and 600 East, they are going to be replacing a pole,
And that's on 400 north, you say?
400 West,
400 west between,
475 east.
which
and
that doesn't
600
make
east.
sense.
yeah.
That's a good catch. Yeah, because that makes no sense.
You can't be west and east.
No, you can't. I'm trying to see here. Okay, it's just printed wrong here. On their map, it's 400 south. That
Oh,
would make more sense.
yeah.
I'll make a notation here. So 400 south between 475 east and 600 east. And then on 500 east, between 300 south and 400 south, replacing 3 poles. On 750 north, between 250 west and 300 west, replacing 1 pole. On 100 east, between 124 and 100 north, they are replacing 3 poles and straightening 1 pole. On 300 east, between 150 north and 200 north, replacing 4 poles.
Is that 100 north and 200?
That was 300 east between 150 north and 200 north.
50. How many, that's the one, how many poles?
4.
4 poles.
Yep. On 200 north, between 27 and 100 east, replacing 1 pole. And then on 200 east, between 300 north and US Highway 33, replacing 5 poles.
Okay, anything on those, or, I
Nope.
mean, you recommend and approve all of them?
Yep, like I said before, when they replace those poles, they stay right in line with where they were. So,
Okay,
I'll make a motion to go ahead and accept, there's 7 permits there.
okay.
Second.
Motion carries to approve all the permits. As we're talking about poles, do you want to talk about the wind that came through last night?
yeah, yesterday evening when the storm came through, you know, north and south was really spared. There was a lot of water. But right down the middle, like County Road 300 south, a mile north, a mile south, they had some really high winds there. And there was some damage. Some electric poles went down. So this morning, as when I come through, they still got that road is still closed. It was more of the high power line. It wasn't like the small ones that feed our houses. These were the bigger ones.
Oh, really?
And one
Like
gentleman,
the metal ones, or the?
they weren't metal, they were wood, but they had
Okay.
like said he heard one of them go, and when the one went, it just took all the others with it. So I did not count how many there were, but there was quite a few that it took down. And there was some damage on a few buildings sustained out that way also, but nobody was hurt that I have heard. So,
Okay,
but yeah, we were fortunate. It was a lot of water fast again.
so is that road still closed, do you know?
It was this morning when I came to work.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
That's another thing that's good to bring up. These rains we get anymore, we get a lot of rain fast. One of the guys at work said he had, like an inch and a half or so in about 25 minutes yesterday afternoon. I want to get it out there and hope people understand. We know there's going to be standing water on roads because water flowing across the roads, stuff can't handle it when it comes that fast. And those are our normal rains anymore. So there are roads that have water across them, and nice thing is, most of these roads comes up and goes back down. It doesn't stay up long. The rivers were not out on the roads yesterday. Today, the guys are checking them now today, and we'll see what's happening because the rivers are definitely high, and we have a bunch more rain coming this weekend. So be keeping an eye on that. So there again, when we get a bunch of rain, just my safety, slow down. You never know where that water's gonna be across the road, because I've seen it at different spots that don't normally do it. So just a safety announcement there, kind of. Pay attention.
okay. Because, as the sheriff told us, if you get stuck in the water, you'll get a ticket.
Yes, that is correct. So, any other questions about that, or?
No, I appreciate you bringing us up to date.
Yep. All right, good news. Last week, we received the notice to proceed from NDOT for our next set of bridges, our next cycle of bridge inspections. So that's a go. Being long as enough to be able to get started now. Dan said hopefully in the next week or two here, they'll get going on it and get that started. So that was good.
Good.
The Bridge 106 project, they got the deck poured last week. So they are progressing very quickly on that. So now that the deck's poured, they told me that's their last big job. Now they can concentrate on the finishing, the dirt work, the guardrails, the approaches, the pavement and all that. They'll start working on all that. Granted, with all the rain now, they're not out there again today because they were going to start moving the dirt. So just an update on that. The deck has been poured. And then another update for you. Been dealing with fuel tanks for a while. And our in-ground fuel tanks, just a refresher, the sump pits and the spill basins have not passed their leak test. So we've been working on that, and I just talked to somebody Monday and gave me another name of somebody that might be able to come in and fix these tops without us having to get new tanks or repair that whole top. Much more reasonable possibly. So like I said, I just found that out Monday afternoon, so I'm going to contact them people and see what they can tell us and if this is a possibility to get these taken care of and not have to go any further with it.
Well, it sure sounds like it's something worth pursuing, for sure.
Yes, definitely looking into.
Yeah. All right.
And other than our normal, guys are out checking roads today with all the rain we had, you know, the washouts and all that. They're out checking all the stone roads, looking at roads. If we have any trees down that we didn't know about or, you know, that got broke, they're out checking all their townships today, so.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, because with those winds, that might not just be poles, it might be
Yeah,
tree limbs down or trees down or whatever.
yep.
So. I wonder if there was power outages with that too.
I heard there was some power out, but it sounded like it was like sporadic, and it didn't, as far as I know, it didn't last long. So,
We had some phones out, Decatur.
Did you?
okay.
Yeah. Cell phones?
Well, no.
Okay.
So that's all I have for today.
You can plan for Friday's 2 inches now.
Yeah, Mark, we can bring that up about 8, 10, and yours, you wanna do it now?
No, I think you can bring it up now.
So, in moving, you know, continuing on, overseeing the bridge, small structure, had a gentleman approach us, and I believe he talked to Stan and Mark, and I can say who it is, right?
Yeah, it's Nate.
Nate
Rumschlag.
Rumschlag from Wells County offered to help, and it would be on an on-call basis. And he came up with a figure and a plan if I need help on things. And, you know, my opinion is it would be nice eventually to have some help. Right now, I feel things, I'm still kind of working off what was set up for me before, working on that, keeping that moving. So I guess my thinking is, you know, give it, I don't know, another month or two and see where I'm at and possibly look at this and, you know, get a hold of him and see if this is something we want to do. And I should put my glasses back on. So basically, field visits, you know, review the bridge inspection, bridge asset management, also help coordinate with engineers and help review plans for the county, develop a fiscal and grant program for funding over the next 5-year period, help with quarterly reports, which, you know, I'm doing that right now. I've been taking care of quarterly reports, spreadsheets to assist in planning and cost estimating, which engineering firms are real good about that too. You know, when I contact them, they're more than happy to help with that for each project also. Kind of in the stage we're in now with those 5 bridges, you guys gave me permission to go ahead and talk to the engineers about. You know, they are working on the plans, and once they get an idea, then they'll give us an idea of the cost for the engineering on. So basically, you know, it'd be an on-call with just 200 hours for $25,000. So the 200 hours, it's not like, you know, I'm going to work all these hours. It would be as needed. You know, so maybe 4 hours one week. Well, if we got something big going, it could be 8 hours another week, or it could be a whole month before we need anything. So I talked to Nate and brought this up, and like I said, I mean, I think eventually it would be a good help for me. Right now, I'm in a comfortable spot. Things are rolling, and we've got things in the works. But I thought, and I talked with Mark to bring this up and just discuss it.
Yeah, I reviewed the proposal. He would be working through Birch Frank and Associates. That's another engineering firm. So he would work through them. And he's Wells County engineer right now, so it would have to be all after hours for him. But it would be a consulting basis. And I know he's had a really good success in Wells County, especially with their grant procurement programs over there. So that's, he's gotten quite a bit of grant money for Wells County to do some pretty big projects. So anyway, he, you know, he's on our regional sewer district board, and so he's familiar with Adams County. He was city engineer for quite a few years, so he's very familiar. He lives in Adams County, lives in Decatur, so he knows what's going on.
You know, one thing I would like to add too, of course, we've done community crossings, you know, for years now. And there also is federal money out there also. As you can imagine, the federal is a lot more involved in the steps and the processes you have to take. The federal also, once you if you get approved, they will pay for 80% of everything. Where community crossings won't pay for the engineering, moving utilities, you know, that kind of stuff. So a federal project, they will pay for 80% of everything, but then now you're pushing those projects out, you know, 5 to 7 years possibly, unless you happen to get fortunate and be bumped up. So this is also knowing that this is a long-range planning for federal. And it is an 80-20 on the federal side of it. Now, granted, the more you put into it, you know, the more it's going to cost, but they're covering 80% of everything. So that just kind of a heads up on the federal grant.
Well, I remember when I talked to Nate, that was one of the things that his approach was looking for grants, looking for money to help fund projects. And he was real good at that, I think.
Yeah. And then also just as that SS8, was it H4 or A4 grant that you sent me that email? And there was a webinar on that Monday and I forgot.
Oh.
It was from 1 to 3 in the afternoon and I got busy. So this is part of the government funding that's coming down for the infrastructure. So they are looking into that, or they're now giving us, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is what you're going to need to do. Because there's a lot more steps to that also. And it's not out there yet. I mean, you're not applying or anything. This is the initial, hey, this is what you need to do to be able to. So that stuff is out there also.
Well, as you have been acting engineer, obviously you have to know what you're capable of and what you're not capable of.
Yeah.
And the things that still need to be done that are not in your wheelhouse, I would certainly think that, you know, consultation with engineers would be very appropriate. So I don't know what you guys are, and it would be up to you to decide
Yeah.
what kind of
Yes.
consultation
Yes.
you need and when you need it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
You want to take his particular request under advisement?
Sure, yeah, all right. You know, you're not asking for an approval today, you're.
No, this was kind of more or less to give you a heads up and then, you know, I can get you copies of this too, because I think you got this. Get you guys a copy, I'll email it to you. That way you can look through it and get more of an idea what it's about.
Mhm. Well, and it's nice to have an interest from somebody that's got a vested interest in Adams County.
Yeah.
And, so, but yeah, if we take that under advisement and if there's any action that you would want to take on that, then
Mhm.
I would certainly consider that. I don't know what you.
You know, like I said, right now, I feel pretty comfortable with where things are at. Because like I said, I'm working off of what was kind of set up before.
Mhm.
You know, and then going forward, I would definitely appreciate some help, you know, down the road. So that's why I guess I don't want to say it's not a rush. I'd like to do it, but maybe it doesn't have to be today.
Yeah, it might offer us some opportunities to continue with the bridge program that Tim has worked so hard on
Yes.
and wanted to continue and.
That is
make
another,
sure-
yes, that is another thing too, I will say, you know, Tim has gotten us in a good spot to where we're at today, that
Mhm.
we are in very good shape, so.
Yeah. So,
Man, that's all I got.
okay. Anything else for Brad? Okay,
Thanks,
All right,
Brad.
thank you.
thank you very much.
Hey, Greg, just one question. Did you ask a question about the number of poles in the county?
I haven't even talked to them yet.
Oh,
No.
no.
I didn't forget though.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. The treasurer was down earlier and said that, this is a very busy time for him, and so he was not gonna come down unless we specifically had questions for him. So I don't know, did you guys have anything
No.
further for him? Okay. Ian, is Jack here?
Jack's at a conference.
Jack's at a conference, okay.
He
And
said
Sheriff,
If you had any questions, you could answer them
okay.
next week, I guess.
Hey,
Morning.
Ian, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Hi, Steve.
Morning.
So, we're at that time of the year, earlier than normal, that it's time for us to submit our IDOC grants for 2023. So the board met, the advisory board met on Monday. The advisory board had approved the submission of the 3 grant requests to the Indiana Department of Corrections. For community corrections, it's $408,670. For probation, it's $78,990. For the Sheriff's Department's jail treatment program, it's $50,000, for a grand total of $537,660. This is pretty much the exact same as what we had for last year. There's no additional requests, and there are no major changes in any of the 3 programs for the 2023 year. So what we need from you today as commissioners is your approval to proceed with the submission of the electronic grants and a signature from Stan on the letter here that I have. And we will push the submit button through the internet and it will be submitted for 2023. We're not intending on any type of cuts. There's not been anything from the state that said that that we would be looking at any kind of funding cuts. So.
Questions?
Nope.
I look at these 3 and as 3 very successful programs that are managed well and continue to provide a real strong rehabilitation program in this county. And I think that's very important. So I appreciate you seeking out these grants and,
Thank you.
yeah.
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. Can I get
Yeah.
your signature, Stan?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ian.
In that jail treatment, that drug and alcohol, stuff like that.
Yeah, they do counseling services with the inmates.
Counseling involved.
Yeah. 2? Is plan A and plan B, or does it just depend on how the meeting's going as to
This
which
one I
one you
left
grab
in
from?
Nate's truck the other day, so he left it down.
Thanks.
I ain't gonna tell you what's in there.
Good job.
Thank you.
Is Judge Conrad's grace probation, is that something that he's funding separately?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, that's not funded through the fund.
okay.
Okay, okay. It looks like Heisers aren't here yet. Mark, would you like to come up?
Certainly. Kind of last
What's
minute
that?
for me, but
Oh, yeah.
we had an interview last week for a new prospective resident, so I'm bringing her to the commissioners this morning for approval. She is a local resident, and she doesn't quite meet all our financial requirements, but we're hoping with ARCH funds, we can offset a little bit of the difference that we will have for her. So our intent is to bring her in and then apply for ARCH funding for the difference. So she's on SSI at this time.
Okay.
I think she'd be really good.
Yep, yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We were contacted, Vivian was contacted this morning by Adams County Hospital about a possible emergency admission. I don't really know any further details at this time, I'm just making you aware, so if something happens the next day or two, if I communicate with you, we may have an emergency, so
We're not really sure if they're qualified yet, but just a heads up.
Is that something on an emergency admission? Will you need our,
I think just a verbal's okay, and then I come back and
Yeah.
we do
Okay.
the paperwork.
They will approve it at the next meeting.
Right. And Josh and I will be in next Tuesday for our monthly report, and he's gonna bring up some maintenance issues as well.
okay. All right.
That's all I have.
Anything else?
That's it, thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Very good, thanks, Mark.
All right.
I want to make a copy of that and then you can have.
Well, and I skipped right over Rick. Sorry about that, Rick. You're too quiet.
That's because you sat way over there.
I must have not had my reading glasses on here.
Mark, for the sake of time for BTS, is court facilities coming in to read the bids?
I sent him I sent an email to the commissioners and you about that. He needs to come in here next week and so we can get
So
that
it'll be
awarded.
next Tuesday?
Yep.
Be next Tuesday then, John. This is the total scope.
Okay.
That'd be the second one, third one. That's the total completion of that job. What I want him to do.
So with the chiller bid, back to that, we've received an email that recommended that we award the contract, but we'd like to have him here in person. Is that the?
I need to hear from him on the controls, the recommendation on
I see.
the controls. I need to know what we're doing with that.
I know BTS was here, had been here, I didn't know if he was coming. Mark
Okay.
from court facilities, so,
Okay,
Yeah, Matt.
so.
so,
Next Tuesday, that'll be brought to,
Yeah, is
Okay.
BTS here today or?
yes.
Yeah, I mean, the recommendation is to award to BTS as the low bidder.
yeah.
Yep.
So as far as ordering, equipment, that will have to wait probably until
We
we,
need to get the contract signed, and they can order.
Sooner the better, guys, because
Yep.
the last one I ordered last week was 31 weeks out, so the sooner the better.
okay,
Next
But
Tuesday.
we've got the recommendation. I mean, as far as that goes, I think you've got the recommendation to award to BTS as the lowest responsible bidder. You know, they've got to provide a performance bond and that takes care of that. So, you know, I could get the contract prepared and we can get it signed if they'll award the base bid project to them. That way they can get procurement done.
that way you can
And then we
order.
can get a recommendation from him about the controls. I think it was, that has to do with matching up the controls with the Havel system, is that right?
That's Able has to do that, it's their system, and they have a password, they won't let anybody else in, so we could have done it, but without a password, we can't do it.
Well, not the base bids.
Okay.
Would that change the price of the bid as far as how that goes?
No, our final price, we did not receive a bid from Able. No response, we tried to, and got no response from them. But in our final bid that I sent to Core, our final price, that price was in there.
It's the same, yeah, that was the bid price that we opened, right?
What do you have, the 287?
Yeah,
That's not-
plus the additional
that was not the
16.
Final price, because that did not have the Able control bid in there.
I had the
I
total,
believe.
I had the total
court facilities.
303.
The
It's 303,000
the base bid,
with that.
the base bid price was $287,117. The option B to furnish Havel temperature control was an add $16,121.
That's that price, that's the control price.
Okay,
Well, I would certainly, if we can, I would certainly love to award that today if it's appropriate.
you've got the bids, that's what the bids were, and you got the recommendation from your project manager, and so they are the lowest responsible bid. And so if you have a motion to award that to BTS, we'll get it done, and I'll have a contract for them to sign this week.
Scrubbers. Now, does that include the scrubbers?
No,
The 287 doesn't include the
no,
scrubbers?
and, well, that was another $16,000. Now,
Right,
if you want
right.
to add that,
Right.
then you'd have to add that to it.
And my understanding is we got 23 scrubbers instead of 24, right?
That's correct.
So that'll drop it a little bit?
Could I say something about the scrubbers?
Yeah.
You can do that if you want to. It's strictly up to you, but I will tell you this. ASHRA right now is investigating those scrubbers, because the way they are now, there's no control over them. And they just run continuously all the time. And what they're afraid of is they're putting ozone into these rooms, and it is affecting some people. So ASHRA is in the process of looking at this. And there might be some guidelines changed here, probably I'd say within the next year. It's new technology. It was just thrown out there when the pandemic come around. So it really hasn't been true and tested. According to ASHRA, the best way to do this is with filtration. So it's in there if you want to spend the money, but I'm not going to say down the road there might be some liability attached to them.
Yeah,
So if we use filtration, would that's already included in the base bid, or that would replace the scrubber bid?
No, you presently have filters in the units, I'm sure there should be, but the only thing that was in that bid was for the scrubbers.
Yeah, you got the base bid is for the chiller project, chiller replacement, and that's the 287-117, option A, and we specifically put these in the bid package as optional adds. So the option A was to add 24 air scrubbers, that's $16,141, and B was to furnish the Havel temperature control, and that's an add $16,121. And I would recommend that you just award the base bid and the option B for the controls and leave the scrubbers out of it for now.
I
That's-
agree with that. Something else that goes with this, John can probably a little more. I mean, on these air handlers, there's water valves. Some of them, I don't know when they've been replaced, and that helps fluctuate that room temperature. Somewhere down the line, I think that needs to be done before them scrubbers. But that's not in any of this, but I agree with Mark. I think that's how I would do it.
So was the main idea of the ozone scrubbers to combat the COVID virus? Is that kind of, okay. So gentlemen, what would you like to do today?
Well, it sounds like I would go along with the base bid plus it was option B. Mark, was that the one that was?
For the controls.
Yeah. I would go along with that aspect of it. That makes sense at this point in time.
Is that a motion?
I'll make that into a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion carries. Let's get
How much
started.
money, Stan? Do you remember what we set aside with the ARPA funds? Was that 300,000 for that?
It was over that amount.
Okay.
A little
How
over.
many weeks out did you say that was in ordering?
Probably roughly 30 weeks.
30 weeks.
30 weeks. You're looking, it's not going to happen this summer. I don't think so. It would, not unless something major happens where they get a bunch of cancellations or something. 24 to 30 weeks on chillers.
Gee, Christmas.
I tell you last year.
You gotta keep that one going, Rick.
Yeah. Spread the word.
I got a card, or you got business card, did you get those?
A lot of fans bought for this.
So, Mark, you're gonna get this up and then he'll have to sign it and then we can get them ordered, right?
Yep. Yep, yeah, just get your contact information and I'll make sure we get everything on the contract.
Okay. Very good. I know it's been a process and you've kind of been working with us from the start. But, you know, as government goes, we had to follow the channels that we had to work with, so.
Understood.
Yep, so appreciate your patience and appreciate your bid and
I
so.
live right here in Adams County, so I have a vested interest in it too, so.
You know, and if you happen to buy somebody else's chillers and just kind of throw them in your truck. Yeah,
I do, I want to say that too, Stan. I mean, thanks for all your patience on all this process, John. I wanted to.
Not a problem, used to it.
Highway department would have a truck if it wasn't a year out on those,
Yeah, exactly.
to put some chillers in there.
Updates. I guess we're done with that.
yeah,
Monday, we had our annual sprinkler test at the courthouse. It's probably 90% done. There was a problem. You couldn't get a reading on one of the pumps on the shaft. For any of you that may be a mechanic or know anything about it, it was like a timing light. He had to shoot it to get the RPM from it. Well, that pump leaks a little bit and it was just wet and he couldn't get a reading on it, so he'll have to come back. But other than that, it passed. That's just where we're at with it. I haven't heard when they're coming back, but they're supposed to notify me. And that was an all-day process with that.
is that the only building that we've got sprinklered?
Yeah. Yep. That's it, yeah, because the rest of it's just, yeah.
Okay,
I'm sprinklers.
Pardon?
yours is sprinkled?
The jail sprinkler.
For the jail. Courthouse and jail.
That's good, because we'd hate to see a cement block building burned down.
A lot of other different things, but that's probably the biggest update. On a personal note, this is really for the highway department. I had to have a new culvert put in my property. They did a great job with that. So
Good,
thanks a lot. Thank you.
yeah. Very
Mark, I
good.
hope that's what you need or not. Contact me.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. That's all I have.
Or did they get all the duct work out of that room down there?
No, they pulled off there and I believe Judge Conrad had some problems over here, so
Oh,
they were over there working.
okay.
So, anything for the judge. So anyway, it is not done yet. It's very close.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
That's 6 months. 6 months.
For 30 weeks, yeah. Yep. All right. Okay, we've got Mike and Cindy Heiser here today. I don't know if you want to come on up. Just would like to introduce you for sure and introduce you as our new managers of the Adams County Animal Shelter. And so you've been through quite a process to get ready for this and actually put up a brand new building and by Friday, we'd be ready for moving all the animals from the other shelter over to your building. And then, so I don't know if you want to speak to that as far as the location and anything you'd like to say as far as managing that shelter, so.
The address is 1250 North, US Highway 27, Decatur.
Okay,
The phone number will change. It'll be 260-849-0300.
okay,
I don't know what the hours they have now, but we were thinking 10 to 12 p.m. and then 5 to 7 p.m. and then by appointment. So we'll see people, on the weekends by appointment.
Okay, so once again, the hours that you would be open would be 10 AM to 12
Mhm.
PM, and then 5 to
7.
7 PM. Okay,
And then, of course, by appointment,
all right.
That's Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday.
And then weekends by appointment.
Yeah.
Okay,
And we'll meet with people other times during the week by appointment too.
okay, good. And then you've got a real nice viewing and interaction area for people
Yeah,
as they want to come
yeah.
and interact with some of the pets and
Yeah.
so, okay. So yeah, we appreciate your location and I think that's still gonna be very central and so.
We're hoping to adopt out, what doesn't get claimed
Yeah,
and try to work it out.
okay. So do we have adoption fees set for cats and dogs?
Yeah,
Okay, so that will be for a cat,
I think all of them were not to exceed $150,
okay?
but I think we can adjust that.
So that might be something that you would advertise
Yeah,
later.
Yeah, it's in the agreement. Yeah,
contract,
it says, fee for adoption of an animal not to exceed $150 plus the cost of any necessary medical care. So that's really, up to you. You can run a special on,
yeah,
on cats and
yeah.
you can decide what those fees are, just not to exceed that maximum. So, and I'll get you an updated agreement, because I know initially we contemplated, that we'd be open hopefully sometime in January, and obviously we had a delay, but glad that you're ready to go, and so I'll get that updated, and we can talk about, if you want it to still go to the December 31st, 2026, or if you want it to run, May 1 to May 1, we can talk about that, but, and then we also have that other, we have the amount that the county agreed to pay for getting the sewage facilities in place, so we'll get that taken care of. We've got to meet with Sprungers for animal control, and we'll get that updated. So we called them yesterday, and she sent me a text, but I got to talk to her, and we'll get with them, and I'm sure you guys have already been talking to them.
Well, that's one thing too, through the process, with the continuation, your cooperation and working with Bowers and working with Sprungers has just kind of helped us to continue to provide the service even through the transition, so, yeah. As far as adopting out animals, do you have specific plans on how you want to advertise? Are you going to use newspapers or social media or anything that you've been thinking so people know?
Probably the newspaper and Facebook and stuff like that. We're gonna have an open house too, but we're not for sure when we're gonna have that, so.
Okay. Well, that might be a good thing, maybe, once you kind of get some of that a little bit more decided, you could do a press release and kind of turn it over to these guys and maybe do something on the radio too, just so the public knows, what your plans are. So, yeah, very good. So,
I drive by that every day on the way home, and I'm looking forward to seeing the giraffes go in the tallest sign.
Yeah.
It's nice that you would take giraffes in like that. You don't see that all the time.
yeah, a lot of people wouldn't even think of that.
No, that's outside the box right there.
They'll be up for adoption too.
Under 150.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, giraffes would be extra. All right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to go over while you're here or anything? I just thought it'd be good for you to come in and kind of discuss, the contract and moving that ahead and kind of get some information out to the general public with the guys that are here.
They need to talk to Bree too on down here.
Yeah.
We'll need to show you how to submit a claim so that we can get
Okay.
claims submitted and get, payments started.
That's why she's here back to the back.
So,
She'll help you with that.
Yeah, is there special paperwork you wanted us to fill out as we take him in?
Yeah, I think we do have, I've got like an intake form and an adoption form. And so I
Okay.
want to get all that to you this week
Okay.
so that you've got that.
So if I have a stray that needs picked up, I just call the 849 number.
No.
well, you'd still call dispatch.
And we call the
Because
animal catcher brings to them. That number that she gave is for the general public to call them to come to look to adopt.
Gotcha.
Or if they got a lost pet.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to advertise the lost ones too. Try to get them back to their homes before we adopt them.
Yeah.
Do you have a chip reader?
We're
Because
getting
some
one.
lost.
Yeah,
That's
we're
a,
getting one.
Okay. Well, very good. Sheriff, anything that you wanted to speak to as far as the animal shelter and control?
Just glad it's open soon.
Okay. All right, but it's definitely a county-wide shelter, so we will be servicing everything out in the county plus Decatur, Monroe, Bern, and Geneva, so.
And folks, what's your capacity? How many animals can you have out there? But, what's your capacity, that might be?
Probably gonna be 20 of each, 20 dogs, 20 cats.
20 of each.
Yeah.
And you're right north of Monroe, aren't you, on the highway there? Like, driven by there,
Yep.
that's where they, that's okay, good.
I just knew it.
So when you come in and get your car serviced, you can look at the pets that are up for
There
adoption.
you go.
Or you can come in and get your pet service, you can look at the cars.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions or comments or anything?
Nope, just glad to get her going.
Okay. Well, yeah, if you want to talk to Bree and she'll help you out with
Okay.
claim forms and the paperwork that she's gonna interact with you. And so, very good. So,
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
appreciate it.
Cindy,
Mhm.
what did you say that phone number is?
260 849 0
okay, Shannon's not here.
0
Do you know, did she have anything that she asked to bring up at all?
1250 north.
Probably the.
What, man?
So I received a resignation letter for a deputy who's retiring. And I'd like to be able to post that opening.
Would that be the number right?
His last day
contact?
of working is May 12th, so I'd like to get that open to start the hiring process for a deputy.
Is that his actual retire date or the last actual working day?
Retirement date and paying off. He's not staying on the payroll.
I see.
He'll
Okay,
be done on May 12th.
okay.
So I would ask for permission to advertise for a new full-time deputy sheriff position.
It'd be worth the time, so still, tell folks I got trouble.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'll just say, let's worth the 50.
This will be your front page 15 visits a life now.
Okay, have I missed anybody other than Mark?
I need to get their, I need to get Cindy's email address. I've got it, but I want to write it down. Hey Cindy, can I get your email address again? That way I've got it.
What's that?
C. Heiser,
No,
Just waiting
Mark's
on
got
Mark.
it. County attorney.
1970 at Hotmail.
I don't know how much he's got. I know he's got one.
What's the best phone number for you?
I think he's got.
If you don't want to use the shelter number, it's 260 849 0400.
All right, good. I'll get everything
Okay,
to you.
so you get those
Forms.
papers. You'll get them directly to me or will I get them?
I'll
Pretty much.
email the
I'm just
Okay.
kind of snobbing.
adoption form and
Oh,
like
okay.
the monthly report form,
Okay.
contract.
Nothing. It took me a long time to get that hacked out of my
Tell you how
head.
to fill out the
Okay.
Took a lot of surveying.
Took a lot of work. Claim number and then just monthly you submit that.
I haven't had a cigar since 2013.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I think that's what she's gonna need, but you can talk to her.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Brady.
Just look at all the friendly conversation you missed out on.
I'm still here.
All right.
Slight pause in proceedings.
Well, while we're waiting for Mark to get some information from them, we'll just kind of wait for a little bit.
Shoot, that guy in BTS, that's what it is. Okay.
We're going up to Notre Dame this weekend. We got tickets for a Garth Brooks concert.
Yeah, I can start doing that now, I'm retired.
Oh, yeah. All right. Mark, do you have anything for us today?
We just got contracts to sign here.
Well, they're supposed to send us some more information. Does that have to be official meeting or can we do it?
No, I'll let them know here. So we had a ongoing dispute with CenturyLink the last several years over an account at the sheriff's department. And they were billing us and we're trying to figure out what it was for. And Shane Rackaway worked on this and we finally figured out what it was and they got it terminated. And then they kept billing us. So they sent us a bill. Unfortunately, that circuit was active. And so up until we got it terminated and I negotiated a settlement with them. They wanted over, I think, $2,200 or $2,400. And I told them we negotiated $1,200 and call it good. So they agreed to that. And so just need you to approve that payment. And so puts that matter to rest. Otherwise, they could have tried to sue us for it and then we'd fight over it. And then we'd waste money on legal fees and probably have to pay it anyway. So they agreed to accept $1,200 and that's done. I just need you to approve that legal settlement.
Make that motion.
Second.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Mark, for negotiating that for us.
Did you have anything else for us?
Well, you already approved
Yeah, those got released and stuff.
these items for IT, so we'll go through and get these signed here after the meeting.
Yep.
And that's it.
Okay. Okay, gentlemen, anything else that you've got for Mark or anything else? Okay, comments from the public? That's the quietest this room's been all morning. All right, okay.
Make motion to adjourn, if nobody's made it yet.
I'll make the first, I'll second.
Okay, meeting adjourned. So